The next question that I have for you, as it pertains to culture, is who is your favorite NBA player that has had a major impact on the culture?
Uh, you mean like impact on me personally or just on the NBA?
Just on the general, like just people in general, like the culture, that type of culture, not just
I
on the
mean,
court, but also off the court.
AI.
Yeah,
I mean, it's Iverson. And we're from the same era. I remember when he entered the league, and there was just such a phenomenon around him. And then when he started braiding his hair, when he started getting cornrows and tattoos, I remember what he had to go through. And I remember I was sort of like I don't know if you really want to do that, man.
yeah,
Like this is gonna hurt you.
yeah,
And I realized the influence that he was having on little kids, and like that was what they wanted. They wanted the realness, and he brought that edge, that street edge, to the game. And there's it's almost like when you think about like R&B music, in the '60s and '70s, everybody, sort of the Temptations and all these people, like they're from the streets. Like these people from Detroit, they were from the hood, right?
yeah,
But Barry Gordy was about polishing them and making sure that they looked clean. They wore nice suits, and they were presentable to white audiences, right? And that's how you get into their homes, by being accepted. That's sort of the way the NBA had to do it, right? When you had Magic and all these guys coming up, we got to sell this league, to these middle class white folks, in the suburbs, right? They got to love these guys. And it worked. MJ was able to transcend and sort of really bust through all doors. But then here Iverson comes, he just blows everything up. Like, I'm not going to be what you want me to be. If you don't like my tattoos, they had to, like, I remember NBA magazine, Hoop magazine, they photoshopped the tattoos off of the images. Like and he had to go through all that. And so, but I think that he forced people to be their genuine self. And I talk about R&B music around the same time that like Diddy, was with Jodeci and Mary J. Blige, and like the key was like, we're gonna be authentic, we're gonna sell ourselves to the streets. This is where you are from, and we're gonna be our genuine self as we sell this music, because you're not just gonna get the music, but you're gonna get the person, and you're gonna sell that. And so Iverson came up right around the right time in the 90s when, black expression, especially hip hop, was really taking hold. Right around the time he started to really take off in popularity, that's when hip hop became the music of the culture. That's when hip hop became what was selling out, what was at, all the Billboard charts. You had all these hits. You had the Fugees, you had, Lauryn Hill, you had all these people that were just like selling Outkast, all the top sellers, Ludacris, like all these people. This was hip hop, and you had to be a genuine self to sell records. Well, in the NBA, Iverson forced everybody to be genuine and real about who they were, and you see it now. Players are, being themselves and doing what they have to do.
absolutely. You hit the nail right on the head. What I was gonna say, because I had Allen Iverson as my pick too. It's just that he's being himself, and it kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier with Sekou. Just not appreciating a person just for what they do, but also for who they are. Like you said, just bringing who you
Yeah,
are to the streets. None of the stuff he did off the court would have mattered if he wasn't as good on the court. So,
for
uh,
sure.
and
Yeah, he was
I,
a legend there too. I remember covering games of the Sixers, and those would be the highlights of my season. When I was covering the Hawks back in the day. I remember he gave the Hawks 50 one night, and I was right there. And this is when we used to sit courtside. Like before they put us up in the bleachers, we used to sit right there on the floor. And I remember him cupping the hand behind his ear, and
yeah,
asking the crowd to give him some more, make some more noise, and
yeah,
do it like I live in Philly now, and you mentioned talking to Dr. J. You talk about all the great legends that have played there, Barkley, anybody else. Nobody gets the response from fans that Iverson gets.
right,
Nobody. Whenever he shows up, now it's different than before the pandemic, but when people were at the arena, And they would, Iverson was there every time, no matter how many games he went to through the season. They start playing Notorious B.I.G. Unbelievable, which is his favorite track. Once that starts coming on, you know that Iverson's in the building, and that crowd's gonna give him a standing ovation. He's gonna stand up and wave. And I swear, like, it doesn't matter. Like, he could go to 20 games a year, same response by everybody in the crowd. They know, oh, there's AI again. No, it's like, yo, there's AI.
Right.
goes crazy because he was able to connect with them in a way that few athletes can with the community. So yeah, AI is for real.
He's definitely one of the few players that never won a championship, but is still considered a champion. And
he is, because he's a champion in life. He wasn't supposed to get out of where he got out of, Hampton Road, out of that area. Like, he wasn't supposed to be, this. He knows it, and he appreciates it. And he's such a fan. Like, he's a fan of the game. Like, he loves the game. He's one of those few guys that still gives back. He gives props to the younger generation. Like, he'll give props to LeBron or Steph Curry. Anybody that's coming up, he's not going to be hating on this era and saying it's soft or this and that. He's like, no, these dudes are legit. These dudes, I wasn't as good as these guys, And I remember when the Sixers had a statue ceremony for Charles Barkley, statue unveiling, when they brought him out to their ring of honor at the practice facility or whatever. Iverson was there, and so Iverson started to film. Take pictures of Barkley standing in front of the statue, and like, he's like a little kid, like, yo, I got a good shot, I got a good one on this. And I'm sitting there watching Iverson react like any fan would, that he got a good picture of Charles Barkley standing next to a statue, like, and it was genuine. It wasn't some performance. Like, I was like, yo, this guy is like a real dude. Like, he's a real dude.
Hey, one of the realest dudes in the game, Allen Iverson. Shout out to him.